Hard to believe it is time for a Halo 5 review, like damn Gina, but I'm glad it's here and I'm glad you guys will be able to get your hands on it soon. Just a heads up, I'm a little sick, sorry if I sound a little nasally. I have a lot to say about this game. In fact, I have like 3 pages of notes that I just like scribbled down immediately after finishing Halo 5's campaign. So yeah, a lot to get through. I'll do my best to make it like as smooth as possible, but you know, Claritin D is good stuff and I may or may not make much sense, but bear with me, we'll get through this together. Halo 5 is probably one of the best shooters I've ever played. It handles beautifully, it's a gorgeous game, it's super polished. I don't think I even ran into any bugs to speak of. The controls are just phenomenal, they feel super tight. And as far as the game plays and looks and feels, I have no complaints about that whatsoever. Like I said, probably one of the better shooters I've ever played. Where my concern with Halo 5 comes in is with the campaign. And now I know multiple reviews have been out for hours already, and a lot of them have sort of echoed what I'm about to say, which is that as someone who played Halo 1 through 4 as recently as a week ago, I mean back to back, I spent a weekend doing all of that, I was very accustomed to seeing Chief and Cortana doing their thing, like partaking in their shenanigans, their banter, watching Chief grow more and more as a character every game, watching how he interacted with Cortana. You know, that I spent an entire weekend around that. So to hop into Halo 5, where you have Locke, Spartan Locke, who is the new character. You play as him 80% of the 15 missions. I think there's only about 3 or 4 you play as Chief. It was kind of a disappointment to me, to be honest, because like I said, I had just really started getting used to Chief, and I was really like becoming fascinated with him as a character and how broken he was as a human, and then to have Spartan Locke take his place. In my opinion, Spartan Locke is a character I couldn't relate to. He was more, in my opinion, one of those characters that he's a soldier who does what he does because he's told to. There wasn't much of a personality to speak of. He was very professional throughout the entire game, so I never really got a chance to kind of like figure out like who is Locke, like what is he all about? You know, what are his motives? And so because you spend so much time with Locke, you only got a few missions with Chief, and during those missions, you know, there's not much to speak of. He's just searching for his friend, and he doesn't really grow or develop as a character much, if at all, so that was really disappointing for me. And as you may know, Chief and Locke aren't the only characters in Halo 5. You have Blue Team, which consists of Chief, Kelly, Linda, and Frederick, who have been like really good friends for a long time, and then you have Osiris, which is Locke, Tanaka, Buck, and Vale. So you have 8 characters in this game, plus the other characters that you don't actually like play with. But the other complaint, and I hate the complaint, I don't want to sound like I'm bashing Halo 5, is with Blue Team. Okay, here's the thing, is I know when it comes to the characters that there have been webcomics and there have been short films and there have been books that kind of talk about these characters more, but if you just pick up and play the Halo games, which unfortunately is all I've done, I haven't checked out any of the lore, I don't know who any of these characters are, and I can maybe tell you a few things about them that I picked up during in-game banter, but that's it. The only character besides Chief and Cortana that I had any sort of attachment to was Buck. And, you know, that's because he has history within the games, and I know of him, and hi, it's Buck. But other than that, like, I kept thinking to myself, I thought to myself, okay, someone's bound to die. I'm not going to tell you whether or not anyone dies. But I thought to myself, who would I be most sad about dying besides, you know, the main characters? And I thought, Buck, sure, but any of the other ones, I don't care. I don't care if they die. I don't care if they get shot in the head. Like, the only reason I cared about Blue Team, which were Chief's friends, is because they were Chief's friends, and I feel sorry for Chief because he's kind of a grieving Spartan loner dude right now, and I'm like, oh, you have friends, that's awesome, but I don't really care about your friends, nor do I really care about anyone in Osiris. Granted, you do get to know the characters of Osiris a little bit more, you actually get to see their faces, and there are a few scenes where, you know, they will have some banter back and forth, and they will do, like, you know, a speech before a battle or something, and you will learn a little more about them more towards the end of the game. So that's that's just another complaint of mine, is just I didn't get attached to any of the characters, and I understand, like, with a short shooter campaign, you can't dedicate too much of that time to the characters, but it would have been nice to actually have some sort of attachment to them and not know them like I know as Kelly is the girl with the accent. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I know them. I don't really know them for their story. And on that note, when it came to the AI, I would say I had like a 50-50 experience with them. There were times when the AI would jump in a turret and mow down an entire line of Covenant, or I would be fallen on the battlefield and needed to be revived, and they would come and revive me. They would pick off targets as I told them to. They would get in vehicles as I told them to. And when that happened, it was very, very satisfying. Now, you gotta love AI. There were also just as many occasions when Vale, for example, would be in a turret and she wouldn't be doing anything, and I have hunters below me, trying to eat my face, and Vale would just kind of be sitting in the turret like, la 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 la. There would be instances where I'm being beamed by a turret in the middle of the battlefield, and my partners try to revive me, but they run right smack into the battlefield where there's a turret going 1,000 miles an hour, and they just get blown to bits, and then the campaign level's over, or they would just be staring at walls. So, it is AI, so you take what you can. I do want to say, though, something that's super awesome about Halo 5. I love how they gave the grunts personality again. Thank you so much, 343. It's so funny because in the earlier Halos, the grunts are totally comic relief, like super silly, like they just spout off about random bullshit. And in Halo 5, the same sort of thing. The first time you come across grunts, they're just talking about breaking glass and how boring their job is, and they're trying, and then they see you, they're like, oh, the demon human. It's really funny. Maybe it's just funny to me because I find humor in that sort of thing. But if it's something you appreciate, you will appreciate it. Now, when it comes to the levels of Halo 5, something I really, really appreciate is that there is no backtracking. In all of them. I want to say most of them. Halo games, there's a lot of like, go to point A, go to point B, go to point C, not backtrack through B to get to A. There's none of that to my recollection in Halo 5. I mean, all the games admittedly kind of are starting to smush together as one big Halo game. So that was really, really appreciated. The level design this time around is definitely much more vertical. In my opinion, I feel like it was a little more linear. In the sense that, you'll go down some narrow hallways, it'll open up to kind of like a wider area with a lot of vertical platforms in it. So you're getting shot at all angles, which is a really cool new feature. But something I really missed from the prior Halos are just those huge wide arenas, or landscapes or whatever, where you just have like hundreds of Covenant like trying to get you. You have a Warthog, you have a Ghost, you have a Scorpion, and you're just immersed in this huge battle, and you drive around, someone drives the Warthog, you get on the turret, and you just try your best to aim, even though it's so hard to aim on that thing. You know what I'm saying, though? There were a few of those moments in Halo 5, but nowhere as near in the prior Halos. So that's something I missed. There wasn't a lot of vehicle combat in general. I mean, you get a couple Scorpions. You get this new weapon called the Photon. I wrote it down. Let me check my notes, friends. Yeah. Phaeton. I think it was Phaeton, actually. Phaeton. But even with that, there wasn't too much to do with it. You got maybe like a short level where you got to like experience it, which is awesome, but more of that would have been appreciated. And I think the reason we didn't get a lot of the Ghost in Warthog and Scorpion combat is because the levels are so vertical. So unlike in other Halo games where you could hack your way up a hill with your Warthog or whatever it was you were using, you can't really do that in Halo 5. So I kind of missed out on some of that. I also thought it was really cool how 343 incorporated a few levels where it was just like a chill, no battle atmosphere. There were just people and I don't want to spoil it, doing their thing, and you had to walk around and talk to people, and you could eavesdrop on the conversations people or things are having, and that was a nice little break from the action. It was pretty cool to be able to do that because that hasn't been done in a Halo game before. So that was cool. There was also some awesome moments where you get to like run down the side of a Guardian, which is really freaking cool. But again, it was just a really short-lived moment. It didn't last longer than a couple minutes. That's what she said. Something else I want to mention is I think it's awesome how there are so many weapons in Halo 5. I mean, you're constantly rotating through weapons and you're constantly being challenged to try new weapons. So it's not like in the other games where you can just stick to your assault rifle or whatever the entire game. You're constantly, like, I had to use a freaking sniper rifle the first part of the game, and I don't know how to use a sniper rifle. I mean, I do, I'm just really bad at it. I'm not an accuracy kind of person, but it was fun because it forced me to try something new, which kept the experience more fresh throughout the game, so props for that. I'm not going to talk about story because I don't want to spoil it for you, because trust me, there is some serious shit that goes down in Halo 5, and I don't want to be the one to tell you what happens. I want you to figure out for yourself. But just know that if anything in this review has like off-put you or made you kind of hesitant to get Halo 5, know this: if you are a fan of Halo lore in the least, even if all you do are play the games like I do, you'll want to play Halo 5 because, yeah, you'll just want to, because I never saw what happened coming, and I know a lot of people didn't. So, really cool twist, but I'll stop there so you can figure it out for yourself. So, would I recommend Halo 5 to Halo fans nationwide, countrywide, stateside, worldwide? My answer is yes, I would, because the story and the campaign, no matter how, I don't want to say disappointed because that's such a rough word, no matter how disappointed I was with the campaign, like, this is definitely a very integral part in the Halo franchise. Like I said, shit goes down and you'll want to know what's happening, and it really sets up for some really cool potential future Halo installments, which we all know are coming. But hey, if you love shooters and you don't give a shit about the story, absolutely, Halo 5 is a great shooter, and I can't deny it that. So yes, if you love shooters, absolutely. If you like Halo, absolutely. Even though the campaign might be a little lackluster, the lore and what goes down is pretty interesting. Sure, it has some flaws when it comes to the AI, the character development, relatable characters, and just some of the battles in general that take place. I won't go into any more details about that because I'll spoil it, but they can get very repetitive. I wish there were more vehicles and more big, like, open area battles that you're kind of accustomed to. I'm kind of sick of fighting the Forerunner squads and Prometheans. Like, seen enough of them to last a lifetime. So in short, yeah, absolutely, I'd recommend Halo 5. Just, you know, know what you're going into. And I know this is just my opinion, and I know there are a lot of people, because I've talked about Halo 5 with a lot of people that have already beaten it as well. They completely disagree with me, and then I've talked to other people who agree with me, and we share the same viewpoint. So play it for yourself. You might love it. And yeah, viva la Halo. Thanks for watching. I hope I didn't ramble too much. If I did, I blame the Claritin.